Hello guys, this is Avcoor and I'm coming back to you with some more Archeland content. If you like my content, hit the like, share, subscribe button because I'm coming out with more of this since this game really excites me. But continuing with the theme of classes, I want to talk about wizards. Notice that I have a wizard here that I am constantly trying to improve. I would say she's like first or second in characters that I really adore. I really adore her design and I'll talk about her and then I'll talk about her again. I promise not to gush over her, but she's pretty much what you would expect for a typical mage to be. So what is this class all about, man? So I'm here to show you what this class is all about. This is your magical attacker. This is the most this is the most potent magical DPS class in the game. Pretty much one of two magical DPS in the game. The other four are warriors, tanks, and archers and assassins, and they only deal physical damage. So that leaves the wizard class in a unique spot because they can attack a defensive stat that's pretty low on a lot of key characters. Like even Charlotte, as good as she is, she only has C magical defense. So that can be exploited, and that's the power of this class. They attack with a different attacking stat, and typically on a lot of good wizards, this is really high. So this is something to keep in mind as you play this game. That your core magical DPS unit will be this class. So what stats are important for this class to utilize? I would say first and foremost would be your magic attack and HP. Those are the two key stats that you want to build on a wizard class. The third stat, would be magic defense. And I stress this that magic defense is really important for this class as people don't understand. Like, if you're not like really deep into strategy games, you don't understand the mechanics of baiting. But baiting's important on this game. I would say super important to the point where your wizard will be your magical bait. They'll bait out magic damage if you see these floating balls or you see these characters that have the staff little thing by their icon, which is right here. That means they use magic attack, and you want your wizard to bait those characters. So magic defense and HP as a combination are really important for this class, as you will ask them in order to take magical hits for you in your team. So don't overlook this stat. A lot of players who play more PvP will say, well, you can pretty much sack that stat. And for the most part, they're correct. But if you're a PvE player like me, you'll value this stat more. And the fourth stat I will go into is concentration. Seeing as this is a DPS class, they would pretty much like to crit and get the extra damage that they need. So keep that in mind when you construct this character, that those are some important stats. I forgot about it, but I'll go over some runes that I think are pretty important. I don't I'm not on my PC client, so the I'll call it this the eyeball rune. Eyeball rune is good because it raises your magic attack. This rune is also good because this actually allows you to put status effects on people. So I would prioritize this for certain wizards as opposed to pure DPS wizards. This this actually allows you to do like magic damage penetration. So these two are pretty standard for the wizard class. Equipment is self-explanatory as wizards use three different types of weapons, and what you're looking for is magic attack and HP. So let's pop into uh, the website, and we look at our wizard classes, and you'll notice that we have at least 5 SSRs. One is new, and we'll talk about her last, as I think she is the future of where magic classes are going because she's pretty exceptional. So Hassan, I would say, is part of that future that I'm speaking about. When you look at his stats, it's PvE early and PvE late. His late game is better than his early game, and there's a couple of reasons for that. First and foremost, the stats that you want on the type of unique passives, you want to increase your magic attack or your magic damage. This is important. So he already falls into that location, even though he needs a debuff to activate that. It's fine. And when he's attacked, inflict poison on the attacker. This is how he starts generating stats effects. Like I said, he's a decent bait unit. You actually want him to bait a magic attack, put poison on that said unit, and then you can go and clean up. That's one strategy. But he also has skills that allows him to pile on debuffs. So really good unit, and seriously, that's where we're going with Wizards. So I would also like to talk about Nicholas and Helga. Nicholas is unique because he's a wizard that actually heals. He has limited healing effects. And this is another direction that wizards will go into that I'm kind of excited about. It's different from Landgressor, where most wizards don't heal at all. So we're seeing a little change in Zelon Games thinking when it comes to wizards. That's pretty good. So don't sleep on this guy if you're not a big spender. If you're not a whale, then that's fine because this character will serve you well in the content, and he actually gets you pretty far. So it's good to mention him. Helga's another character I want to talk about. Her PvE game is pretty weak later on. There's a couple of reasons for that, but I don't think they're that big of a deal. Because of wizards, you want a magic attack increase, and when she uses a skill, she increases her attack by 40%. That's pretty good. She actually attacks, cleanses, and buffs. So it's pretty limited, but she's pretty good for what she does. So going into the more advanced characters, you'll notice an increasing trend that you will begin to see in all of them later on. Nola, for instance, is pretty interesting in the fact that she actually uses crit to increase her damage as opposed to what typically wizards use is more magic attack, more damage increase, and she increases her range, which makes her pretty exceptional in PvP because she can attack from a safe distance. And you'll see later on in this game that a lot of new wizards will come out with range increasing abilities and skills. So let's talk about Atum. And this wizard is unique as his magic attack scales with his HP. You'll notice that when it falls below 50%, he restores back again and he increases his stats. This is pretty good. And it makes him a long term investment as he'll be pretty good for the long run and the role that you assign him. But he's more of an AoE damage dealer. And I think this is the most significant part of his kit outside of his near death regen. AoE is going to be so important in PvP that I know on some like videos that you may have seen, they rank him low. But once you start maxing him out, he's pretty much like the cornerstone of an AoE strategy. And AoE strats are going to be important for the simple fact that they're easy to do. Like you don't need a big brain in order to drop like 3 AoEs on a team. In PvP, you're going to see AoE dominate to the end of the depth of this game. So AoE wizards are going to be sacrosanct for teams. I want to talk about Lena before Catherine, and that's because, for better or for worse, this character is the cornerstone of PvE wizards. She does everything you would want a PvE wizard to do. First of all, she increases her magic attack when her HP is above 70%, but you would like for her to be topped off. You have a tank around her. She's not really supposed to fall below 40%. That's the margin. I play this game enough to know that's kind of the like realistic margin of where HP falls and hard PV content. But you can top her up to 70% and above pretty easy. She has a low HP stat, which kind of works against her, but it kind of works to her effect to use this skill. And the most important part of her kit is after dealing damage during your own turn, you can move 2 tiles after battle. This this makes her the Leon of wizards. The fact that she has Kanto in her kit as a wizard makes her PvE prospects infinite. If you get this character, she's a long-term investment, and you do not waste resources. And she even comes with a leadership passive for whatever reason. I guess they just loved her so much. I don't know. And it's a pretty good passive too. When at full HP, allies penetrate defenses. Pretty good stuff. And she has like slow. And that's kind of what you want for your wizard class to do, to increase damage output, apply status effects, and AoE damage. And until a latter extent, do some magic baiting. And that's the core of this class and what it should do. Characters exceed that, and we'll talk about that with Catherine and Susie and Susan. The reason why I say Catherine exceeds that is because of her unique passive. First of all, she actually grants a really great buff that increases damage dealt by 20%. For whatever reason, they gave her that. I don't know why. After her turn is, if there's no shadow line alive on the battlefield, someone beside her, shadow line can be summoned every certain turn. She actually puts a body on the field, which is pretty good. The shadow line actually inherits 100% of her HP, but only like half her stats. No one cares about that. The fact that she is a wizard that puts a body on the field allows her to tank in a way that other people can't tank, and she does not sacrifice herself in order to do that. That's when she's one of the newer characters, and you can already see her existence slowly age all the rest of the wizards, because the other wizards I just mentioned can't do that. And she has a lot of status effects in her kit, and you want wizards to have that status effect to do something besides damage. And she buffs, which she does something besides damage, which really actually increases her overall utility and power. A pretty broken unit, and this is where wizards are going. And so we'll finish off this video with Susie and Susan. This is you would, when you look at her unique passive, you wouldn't think it was that great, but when you look at it strategically, it's really frightening. You increase your own magic attack and magic defense by a certain percentage when attacking targets inflicted with debuff, which you would ask a wizard to do. You want them to have self-buffing mechanics in their kit in order to increase their damage. But this is the kicker. At the end of action, inflict 1 to 2 random debuffs to 2 to 3 random enemies within 2 to 3 tiles. That's insane. The fact that she actually has passive debuffs actually makes her one of the strongest wizards right now in PvP. Because in PvP, stats effects are sacrosanct. This is how you win battles. Especially when she has really great AoEs. You want your wizard to do that, and she does that, and she does more. So she even comes with a leadership passive. I mean, I guess they split Bozel. If you play Landgresser, you know what I'm saying? They split Bozel because Bozel has the power to debuff enemies passively when he attacks, and he also has the power to summon minions. So, like, these new wizards are incorporating a lot of his strengths, and I'm kind of excited to see where it goes. I hope they don't make it too overpowering, because there's other classes like the shooter that I would like to see do better. But Wizards, the way they're developing, they're becoming an extremely potent class. So, anyways, if you like my content, hit the like, share, subscribe button. I'll get back to you guys and later.